Nova Scotians want to know if a long-term plan is in place for the 400 schools across the province used to educate 118,000 students approximately. They are also interested to understand whether decisions to build or renovate schools are based on sound analysis and support. Four key messages came out of this audit. Firstly, the long-term capital planning over the 400 schools in the province is insufficient at the department. A couple of examples: the department has very little detailed information on the actual conditions of these schools. And also there is a lack of coordination between the school boards and the Department of Education. For example, the school boards make actual decisions around closures of schools, but decisions on whether to build a new school or to renovate rest with the department. Often, the school boards have to make their decisions without knowing what the final decisions from the department will be. Secondly, in relation to the $21 million decision to build the Eastern Passage High School, the government was unable to provide any support or analysis which would demonstrate the need for this school. And in fact, when this new school is built, the other two high schools in the area will operate at less than 50% capacity. We also noted, thirdly, some concerns on projects that were approved but were ranked lower than other approved projects related to new schools. As an example, there was $46 million approved by Cabinet for two schools, one in Tatamagouche and one in Bridgetown, while these schools ranked 26th and 28th. This year, the top 10 capital projects were approved, so these items got approved even though they were well outside the 10 that were approved list. Secondly, in relation to these projects, there were two schools that had $17 million in renovations approved for two schools, one in École Acadienne de Truro and the other in Wolfville. And these schools ranked 21 and 19 by the Committee of Government. However, they were approved by the Cabinet, noting that only the top 10 items were approved this year, but these two were indeed selected. Fourthly, and the final conclusion that we made on this audit, was that in relation to the 39 P3 schools that are operating in Nova Scotia, the government has spent approximately $700 million during the lease terms for these schools, and if they were to buy them, there would be another $200 million to spend. All of these P3 leases come due within the next 5 years. However, at the time of the audit, we were concerned with the lack of attention or timely analysis given to these P3 schools and what would need to be done to manage these appropriately. Now the Nova Scotians need to hold their government accountable to improve the management of the P3 school portfolio more actively and more timely, and also to see that a long-term capital plan is in place for the schools that will be used to educate Nova Scotian students in the future. To address this, we made 4 recommendations that we believe will help address these weaknesses, and the government has agreed to all of these recommendations and to take action. In relation to the Eastern Passage High School, we have recommended that the government needs to immediately revisit the decision to build this school, given the information that is available. The government has disagreed with this, and we think that Nova Scotians deserve to hear why this school should be built, given the lack of support for it. Finally, I would add that Nova Scotians should look to their government to ask and to be explained, why is it that 4 projects that ranked anywhere from 19 to 28 and weren't on the list of the 10 that were approved, why they are getting built when there are more needs recognized across the province, while Cabinet has the authority to do that, and it's well within their right to do this. Nova Scotians could benefit from understanding how these decisions are reached.